Hello everyone, it's Ben here. Um, Good evening. It's Christmas Eve. I hope everyone's having a good Christmas Eve, and I'll get it out of the way now. I hope everyone has a mint Christmas. It's been a rough few months for me, as I've said. Um, we're actually working tomorrow night for Christmas, so I'll be asleep most of the day tomorrow, and then working Christmas night. So not a very good one for me, but at the same time, I'm not massive on Christmas anyway, so it doesn't really fuss me to work. I haven't worked at Christmas for a while, so I thought I'd take my time, do my time at work. Um, Christmas was all right last year. Um, you know, Nothing spectacular. It was okay, but I had no problems working this year, so it's okay. It's good for me. Um, Basically, this video is I'm gonna do my reactions. Even though obviously I've seen who's playing, but I'm just gonna go through the bands that are playing at Download Festival next year. So this year was my first ever download. Um, I stayed in Airbnb with my ex at the time and her best mate and her fella. Um, Good experience. Um, First day, I saw fucking loads of bands. And then the next day, because these people didn't want to get to the arena till like 1, 2 o'clock, I missed quite a few bands. So I was a bit annoyed at that really, because there's a few bands on in the morning time that I'd like to have seen. But at the same time, staying in an Airbnb was brilliant. Getting back after the day and having a shower and sleeping in a bed, it was great. Like, so I can't fault it. Saw some really good bands. Top five bands. First, the best band I saw, Fear Factory. They were absolutely fucking incredible. They played in the smallest tent. They've got a new singer who's basically a Fear Factory fan. So I wasn't sure what they were going to sound like, but they were absolutely fucking incredible. Like they sounded just the same as Fear Factory do. Like the lead singer sounded like their old singer, so couldn't fault them. Second best band I saw, Slaughter to Prevail. They were on the second stage. Like they were unbelievable. Like they were so good. Alex's voice just sounds fucking spot on, same as he does in all the songs. He's fucking smashing the mic against his head, making him bleed. He did Demolisher without the mic, which bit where he goes Demolisher, like without the mic and all that kind of stuff. Like they were really good. Third best band saw Funeral for a Friend. Um, they were awesome. Outside on the second stage at night time, it was raining, and I think they had a singer from the band's called Holding Absence or something, which I haven't actually seen, but I've heard good things, so I think I'll go see them at some point. Yeah, saw them. They were really good, and then Atreyu, saw them in the third third stage, the 10th. They were awesome. Like I know they're good live, and I like Atreyu anyway, but they surprised me how good they actually were. And then Limp Bizkit, even though it was outside, and I didn't think they were as good as they were inside. They were still really good because fucking Limp at the end of the day, and Fred's ace, and yeah. So I really enjoyed it. Went on the Friday, came back Monday morning. We're only there for 3 days. Next year, I'm camping. I'm going for 5 days. Going up on the Wednesday, coming back Monday morning. Going with one of my mates, Rob. Big shout out to him. He's the reason I'm going next year. I wasn't planning on going, but I'm going next year, and I'm camping. I am not a fan of camping. Ben doesn't camp. I don't like it. I like my comforts too much. But at the same time, I enjoyed Download that much this year. I wanted to go, and camping is the way that I'm going for it. So, got to make sure I get all the gear and make my tent into a nice little fucking warm, cozy home for 5 days. So yeah, That's what I'm doing next year, and I'm looking forward to that because it means I can get down to the arena early as possible to watch the first bands that are on and just watch the bands all day. Like I don't get people who get to the arena at like 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon and you miss like 4 or 5 bands, and then you can only watch from that time to the last band. You're not going to get as much because obviously you need your food, you need to go for a piss, you need your drink, you need a bit of break. So yeah, I don't get that. So I'm looking forward to being able to just go down there for the first bands and discover some new bands. You know what I mean? Oh, I'm gonna go watch this band. I know who they are. Nah, it's about watching bands you've not seen before, heard of maybe, but not seen. Like I'm really excited for that. I watched quite a lot of bands last year that I'd not heard of, and since then I've carried on listening to them. So yeah, I'm looking forward to download next year more now that I went this year, but I think I'm doing it the right way next year with the camping and whatnot. So yeah, so basically I'm just gonna go through all the bands that are playing download next year. Obviously they're not all announced yet because they do like I think it's two or three more um, like days of announcements of a few bands. But I'm just gonna basically run through the ones that are playing from like the smaller bands, as they say, uh, all the way up to the headliners. So yeah, just don't get offended if I say a band that you like, I don't like, and say you're shit. At the end of the day, it's all opinions. Um, if I don't like this band but you absolutely love them, or I say some bad shit about a band that you love, don't fucking get menstrual about it. Don't say that I'm a bad influence on your opinions because it's just bullshit. At the end of the day, you're gonna like bands that I don't like. I'm gonna like bands that you don't like. Doesn't affect anything. You're still gonna watch them. I'm not gonna watch them. Doesn't matter. Just my opinion at the end of the day. So the smaller bands that have been announced, and they do them in alphabetical order, which is decent. So there's a band called Alcest. I'll be honest, never heard of them. Don't not heard of them before. No judgment, no comments on them. There's going to be quite a lot of that. I just thought I'd say. Amira Al Feki. Don't know. Can't say anything. Don't know anything about them. Anal Nathrak. Heard of them. No idea what they sound like. Archers, I've heard of. I've heard good stuff about them. Never actually checked them out, so I probably will check them out closer to download, see what they're like. But I have heard good stuff about them. Archers, no, sorry, my writing is absolute dog shit, so I've got to try and read my own fucking writing. Arrows in Action, never heard of them. Pretty cool name though. Artio or Artio, don't know, never heard of them either. Bad Nerves, not heard of them either. So I can't really give much comment. Then there's a band with one of the coolest names ever, but it also sounds like some weeby Magic the Gathering, Naruto, Demon Slayer, all that fucking weeby shit character. Battle Snake. I mean, they sound ace, but I've never heard of anything of theirs. Then there's Bex. Now my mate Rob is a massive Bex fan. And actually listened to a couple of her tunes while we were out, and it's decent. Sounds good. Like I can imagine that she's very good live. So I might give her a watch. The thing with download is it all depends on times, like who's on at certain times. Like if Bex is on at the same time as a band that I really really like, then obviously I'm gonna go watch the band that I really really like. But if she's on at the same time as some people I've not heard of, then I'll definitely go give her a go. So Bex, yeah, she's one I'll probably give a go. Currents, I've heard of them, heard a lot of the stuff. Very, very good band. Definitely gonna go watch them if it's possible. Dead Poet Society, a band that I have heard of, but not actually heard any of the stuff, so I can't really judge. Same for the next band called Dead Pony. Not heard anything by them, so I can't really judge. Then there's a band called Ivor or Ivor, depending how you pronounce it. Again, not heard anything of theirs, so I can't really comment and say, yeah, I'm gonna go watch them because I don't know. Then there's a band called Faytooth. Again, sounds like some weeby fucking characters from some shit, but not heard of them. Then the next band I have actually heard of, and I got very excited when I saw this band announced. Is a band called Filter. Now, they're like an old new metal band. I swear they're from like 15, 20 years ago. I remember listening to them growing up as like a young kid who liked new metal. I still like new metal now. Difference is I'm old. But yeah, they got a song called "Where Do We Go From Here," which is an absolute fucking banger. But yeah, I didn't even know they were still going, to be honest. So when I saw them announced, I was like, yeah, I'll definitely go see them if it's possible. So yeah, Filter, yes, big fan of those. And then the next band, Fit for an Autopsy. I fucking love Fit for an Autopsy. Heavy as fuck. Supposed to be very good live. Never seen them, but I've heard they're very good live. I'm a big fan of that band, so I will definitely 100% be going to watch them if it's possible, depending on times. And then there's the next band called Funeral Portrait. Don't know much about them. And there's a band called Gore. Again, don't know. By the way, these could actually be like solo artists. I don't know because like I've not heard of them. So if I'm saying oh they sound like a good band, but it's actually just a person on their own, that's my bad. So Gore, yes, not heard of them. Graphic Nature, I've heard of, but again, don't know much about them. Harpy, I have actually heard of and heard good things, but never actually checked them out, or checked them out, or checked her or him out. I don't know. But yeah, I've heard good stuff about that act. So there's a possibility. A band called The Haunt, heard of them. Don't know anything about them. The Holy Wars, not heard anything of theirs either. The thing is, I will actually check all these bands out at some point, like to see if they're someone I reckon I could go watch and enjoy, or I might just turn up on the day and just be like eeny meeny miny mo kind of thing and just fucking pick them. I did that last year. Then there's a band called House of Protection. Don't know anything about them. Karen Dio again, heard of. Never actually listened, so I can't really judge on that one. Then there's Kim Dracula. Heard of that act, but never checked them out. Then the next band, I'm very fucking excited for because I used to love them when I was growing up, and I'll be honest, I used to fancy some of them as well. But then they've come back this year or last year and they released an album, and it's in the fucking banging album, like heavy as fuck, really really good. And it's a band called Kitty. Now, if you're as old as me or older than me, you'll remember those growing up. They had songs like Spit, Brackish, songs like that. But they've released a new album this year, and if you've not heard it, check it out. Honestly, it's heavy as balls, man. It's really, really fucking good. So they're like a band on there. I was like, yeah, I'm definitely gonna fucking try and watch them if I can. So yeah, that's Kitty, and then Lestel, don't know, not heard of. And then there's a really, really good band I've seen a couple of times, a band called Loathe. Now, if you get a chance to watch them, watch them. They are fucking brilliant live, very energetic. Good band as well. Like tunes are really, really catchy, really good, heavy. Mixture of heavy and like chilled as well. But yeah, very, very good band. Definitely go check them out if I can. So that's Loathe. Then there's Lolo. Don't know, not heard of. There's a band called the Meths. I've heard of them. Heard they're a good band to go watch live, but again, not seen them or heard of them, so I can't really judge. Then there's the Melted Bodies. Again, pretty cool name, but not heard any of the stuff. Then there's a band called Nothing More. I've heard of them. Probably heard some of their tunes. I might get mixed up between Nothing More, Non-Point, and there's a couple of bands. They sound like names wise. So I probably have actually heard of them before, but I just can't picture if I have or not. So I will actually listen to them to think if it's the band that I have heard of. If it is, I will go watch them, because if it is Nothing More that I'm on about, they are actually really good. Then the next band, I'm definitely going to watch. They've had a new singer in the last few years, and I'm not a biggest fan of his as was the old one, but they're still really, really good, and musically they're fucking brilliant. It's a band called Novelists. Now, I've seen Novelists at Bunker 13 in Hanley many, many years ago, and they were fucking ace. And if you listen to their older tunes, technically fucking great band. They've had a new singer, they changed the style a little bit, but they're still really good. So I'll definitely go give them a watch if the timing's right. Next band, Orbit Culture. Now, I've heard a few of their tunes, pretty heavy, sounded. I get a bit of a Metallica vibe, which doesn't do anything for me because I'm not a big Metallica fan. But they've also got some good tunes as well. So they're one of the bands where I'm like, if there's no one else on and they're on, I'll probably go watch them because I've heard good things about them live as well. But again, never really been big into them. But I've heard a couple of the tunes and they're decent, so I could give Orbit Culture a go. The band called Riding the Low, not heard of them. Then the next band is a band called The Scratch. Now, I've seen online lots of people fucking saying that they are really, really good live and they're a bit mental and really energetic and it's a good live performance. So they're a band that is definitely a maybe and I'm interested in going watch if like the timing's right and whatnot. But yeah, they're ones that I'm kind of looking out for. So I could go give them a watch. And then there's a band called 7 Hours After Violet. Bit of an old school emo name for a band, but again, not heard any stuff, so I can't really judge. Band called Sim, like the game The Sims, just called Sim, so don't know, not heard of them. Sophie Lloyd, don't know anything about, can't judge. Southern River Band, they sound like Texas country like music. I can imagine people line dancing to them, but I don't know anything about them. They could be fucking heavy as anything, so I don't really know. Spiritual Cramp, which is such a weird name for a band. Um, Not heard of their their stuff, so I can't judge. Split Chain, I have heard of. Not heard any of the stuff, but again, I've heard good things about them. So there could be a band that I might be interested in. Static Dress, heard a lot of good stuff about them. They've had quite a big year, I think. So they are a possibility because I've heard of them. So it could be worth a watch. Then there's a band called Survive, Said the Prophet. I think that's a really fucking cool name for a band. When I hear that name, it makes me think of like a rap new metal band because that's what it sounds like. But obviously, I can't judge because I've never heard of them. They might sound nothing like that. But the name's cool. Never heard any of the stuff, so I can't really judge that. Then there's a band called Svalbard. Not heard anything. Sound Norwegian or Swedish or Finnish or like something like that. So I can imagine them maybe being like black metal, but I don't know. Next band, very interested in going to watch as I've seen them before. They supported Killswitch when I went to watch them. It's a band called Silosis. Very, very good live band. Heavy as fuck, guitar riffs for days. Lots of stank faces, yeah, that kind of shit. Probably go watch them. Very good live band. There's a band called Teen Mortgage. Don't know. Trophy Eyes. Don't know. Underside. Don't know. Pressed. Unpressed. Not heard of them. Venus Girls, not heard of them. Vola, heard a little bit about them, but again, don't really know much about them, so I can't really judge. Then there's another band called Vower, don't know. A band called Vows, don't know. And then finally, there's a band called Wind Hand. Again, that sounds like if you fart into your hand and like blow it at someone. I don't know. So there's quite a few bands on there that I've not heard of. There's probably about 5 or 6 that I have actually heard of. So it'll be interesting when I get there, what bands are on, which bands I go and choose to go and watch. So I'm excited. I always like finding out about new bands. Like I did that this year, and there's quite a few bands that I still listen to now because I went to watch them randomly at Download. So they were like the lower bands. So it goes from like there's like 4 categories, and like they were the bottom ones. Then the next ones, there's more bands that I've heard of, and then there's like your second stagey bands, and then obviously you have your headline 3. So this is the band up from the category of bands that are supposed to be a little bit higher up. So there's Airborne. Obviously I've heard Airborne before. A lot of my friends like them. They don't do anything for me, but good to see a band like that on there. Obviously got quite a decent fan base, so it's fair play them being on there. They're not someone that I'd go and watch, to be fair. Then there's Alien Ant Farm. I actually saw them a month or two ago in Birmingham with In Me, and there's another band on there. I can't remember what they were called, but Alien Ant Farm were good. They're a band that I've liked for a very, very long time growing up. Good live as well. So it depends who's on at the same time as them. With me only seeing them not long ago, do I go see them again? I'll put it this way: if there's no one else on and the timing's right, I will go watch Alien Ant Farm because they're a good band. Next band I'm dying to see if I can. They've just supported Slipknot and are still supporting Slipknot if they're still on the tour. I'm not sure. Bleed From Within. Now, they've been getting massive, massive props from fans who've been watching Slipknot and them obviously supporting. I will definitely try and watch them if I can. Good bands, good music, heavy with good melodies as well. So yeah, they're a band I'd definitely go and try and watch. Boston Manor. I only know a couple tunes by Boston Manor, and both of them are really good. So again, they're a high possibility to go watch them. So yeah, it's a decent shout for that one. Now the next band was supposed to be supporting Alien Ant Farm when I went to watch them a few weeks ago, but obviously their singer slash guitarist Chad Gisberg decided to slap the guy from Alien Ant Farm or whatever, and I was gutted when they got kicked off the tour because I've been wanting to watch this band since I was a kid. It's CKY, or Can't Kill Yourself as you like to call them. First heard of these boys when they turned up in the series CKY, obviously Bam Margera's thing. Fucking great band. Guitar riffs are incredible, drums are good. Their old singer Darren Miller's fucking superb. Chad's not a bad singer, obviously he's a bit of a douche, but I was gutted. I was more excited to actually see CKY than I was Alien Ant Farm. So when they were kicked off the tour, I was fucking so sad. Inmi did a mint job, to be fair. Inmi were fantastic when I went to watch them, even I've seen them a few times. But CKY are on my list of definite go and watch at download. Again, depending if there's any other bands on that I prefer to go watch, but it'd be hard for me to not go watch CKY, let's put it that way. There's a band called Dayseeker. Heard of them, heard good things, never heard any of the stuff. So it's another band I've got to check out to decide whether I go watch them or not. I don't know. Eagles of Death Metal, not a band I'm fond of or listen to. Heard quite a few of the tracks. They're okay, but they're not a band I'm going to go out my way to watch. Next band, again, I've always wanted to see these boys and everything they've been through in the last few years and how they're still going and all the drama they've been through and the trauma they've been through. The Ghost Inside, I will make sure I do my very best to watch them because they are superb live. The older stuff's really good. Engine 45's such a fucking banging tune, and the new stuff they've brought out since they've had the crash and whatnot, the bus crash and all that kind of stuff, and they're still going. They've got a song called Avalanche, which is absolutely fucking mega, but they're such a good band. Banging tunes. I will do my very best to go and watch them because I've been a big fan of them for a long time. So yeah, Ghost Inside. Next band on is Jerry Cantrell. Tough one for me because I'm a big fan of Alice in Chains. Obviously Jerry Cantrell took over from Lane Staley. Not huge on his solo stuff, but again, it's one of them where if he's on at the same time as some people I'm not really too keen on or interested in seeing, I will go watch Jerry Cantrell just for nostalgia value. So it's a possibility. Next band, Ginger. Now, I think Ginger should be higher up on these lists because Ginger are a fucking superb band. Very, very good live. Technically brilliant. I will go and watch them if I possibly can. Again, I like the stuff. I'm not like, I'm a fucking diehard Ginger fan. Like, I do like them, but I'm not like rushing or I've got to go watch them. So I could possibly go watch them. Again, all depends on timing. Next band, Mallory Knox. don't mind Mallory Knox. I've heard some of the stuff. Some of it's good, some of it's not so good. Again, could be a possibility. All depends. The next band, um, Me First and the Gimme Gimme Gimmes. Now, they're a funny band, but they're also very very good as well. They do a cover of I Believe I Can Fly. Um, it's better than the original. I do like the original, but yeah, they're a very fun band. I can imagine them being very good on stage as well, especially if they're playing in some of one of the smaller tents. I will give them a go, if it's possible, because I'm a big fan of those guys. Next band, Meshuggah. Heard a lot of their stuff, proper stank face stuff, a lot of headbanging. I can imagine being involved and all that. I'm interested in seeing them if the timing's right and whatnot. But yeah, Meshuggah is a possibility for me. And then we've got North Lane. I'm a big fan of North Lane. Um, they are someone that I've followed for quite a long time. Gone through a bit of a transitional period, but I will maybe go watch them if I can. They're a big possibility for me. I can imagine them being very good live as well, to be honest. So might give them a go. And then there's Polaris again, similar to North Lane. I've followed them for quite a while. Decent tunes. Can imagine them being very very good live. Heard a lot of good stuff about them. So if it's possible, I will go and watch them. Next one is Poppy. Now, I like Poppy. I think she's really fucking good, really heavy, very different, very artsy fartsy. Um, New album's really good as well. So she is someone that I'm very interested in going to see if it's possible because she's apparently very good live as well. I mean, I've seen her do. She did a song for NXT. She did it live and it was fucking awesome. So Poppy, yeah, she's out of all these, she's quite high up on the list to go and watch. And then there's a band called Star Set. I've heard one song by them. It was okay. So, again, it's one of them. If they're on at the same time as bands that I prefer, then I'll obviously go watch them. But if Star Set are on and it's a possibility, then yeah, I'll go watch Star Set. So it's a possibility. And then there's Turbo Negro. Now, they're a very fucking crazy band. First heard their stuff when I used to watch Viva La Bam. Thought they were okay, very energetic, a little bit mental. Not a band I would say I'd probably listen to, but again, would be very interested to go see them. As I've heard, they are a bit chaotic live, so that's a possibility. And then the final band on here is one of the bands that I'm gonna 100% go try and see. I should have seen him at the Sugar Mill a few years ago, but it got cancelled. I think COVID happened maybe at that time. I'm not sure. I can't remember. Renowned for being one of the best deathcore vocalists. It's Whitechapel. Now I will 100% go and try and see them. I love Phil Bozeman. Like I say, he's one of the best deathcore vocalists around. Disgusting voice, but they've also released a couple of albums where they're a bit more tame and a bit more chilled out, and both of those are, I think there's two, maybe one. It might be one album where it's a bit more chilled out, but their older stuff's absolutely fucking disgusting. So obviously I will definitely go and try and see them. They're one of the ones on there I was really excited to go and see when these lineup got announced. So there's quite a few bands on that little list there that I will definitely go and try and see. If they're on the smaller stages, obviously they'd be even better. So then, moving up the next bracket, these are like the bigger bands that more people have probably heard of. Decent, um, decent bracket this one, to be fair. So I'll go in order of like, how they were announced. So Weezer. Now, obviously, nerd metal or whatever you want to fucking call it, nerdcore or some shit. I like a lot of Weezer songs, but there's also a lot of Weezer songs that I don't like. Don't really know if they're any good live. I've not really ever. I don't think I've ever known anyone to go watch them. To be honest, so I can't really judge off anyone's opinions if they're good live. I can imagine them being quite funny, like a Bowling for Soup kind of band. So they're a possibility, to be honest. But I'm not like I have to go watch them. Do you know what I mean? They're there if they're on at the same time as some other bands. Then yeah, it'll be a decide on the day. See who else is playing at the time. Next band, Bullet for My Valentine. Now, um, I love old Bullet stuff. The Poison, fucking great album. Jealous of anyone that's going to that Trivium and Bullet gig where Bullet are doing the Poison all the way through and Trivium are doing the Ascendancy. Um, so Bullets for me, it's one of those where I might go watch him, but then anything really after the Poison, I'm not like massively keen on. But I know they're a very good live band, so they're a possibility. Bullet for My Valentine. Next band, Jimmy Eat World. I've been a big Jimmy Eat World fan for quite a long time. Bleed American is an absolute banging album. There's no skips on that album whatsoever. Then the album after that's got the song Pain on is a decent album. And I've not really followed them too much after that. So Jimmy Eat World, again, they're a band that I might go and watch. Heard they're pretty decent live, but I've also heard they're not good live as well. But obviously, it's all opinions. I've seen some bands that I thought were absolutely fucking amazing that some people think are shit. So, yeah, Jimmy Eat World are a band I'm interested in going to see. Then there's Don Brocco, or Don Broco, I don't know how you pronounce it. Don't mind their stuff. I heard they're very good live, but they're not a band that I'm like drawn to go and watch. Again, I could, I might end up watching them. It just all depends who's on at the same time. But yeah, I'm not like huge on Don Broco, so not a band I'm gonna be like pushing to go and see, but could end up going to see at the same time. Then the next band is a band I've actually got into recently and been listening to a lot more of, and it's Spirit Box. I've liked all the stuff I've listened to. I've just never really just got into them really, and I've just recently started listening to them. Very good band musically. Heard they're very good live. Technically brilliant. So they are a potential band that I will go and see. Personally, yeah, it's a possibility to go watch Spirit Box. Put it this way: if Don Broco and Spirit Box are on the same time, I'm watching Spirit Box. So yeah, they're a possibility, and I'm glad to see him quite high up on the card as well. Next band, Sex Pistols with Frank Carter. Now, this doesn't interest me. I was never a fan of the Sex Pistols. I'm not a fan of that, hardcore punk kind of music anyway. Like, I think the Sex Pistols are just fucking noise. But the bonus with this is that with Frank Carter. Frank Carter's a fucking fantastic vocalist. Can he make the Sex Pistols? If it's all the original members, I don't know if any of them have died or whatnot, because obviously they're quite an older band, but can he make the Sex Pistols listenable for me? Probably not. They're not, put it this way, I won't be going to watch them unless there's literally nobody else who I'm interested in playing at the same time. Doesn't tickle my pickle, but it's pretty cool to see a band as iconic as the Sex Pistols playing Download Festival in 2025. I'm sure there'll be quite a decent crowd for them. But yeah, just not for me really. Next band, Within Temptation. Not huge on that style of rock music. The opera singer and it's a bit heavy in there and all that. It's not really my kind of thing, but they are one of the best at doing it. But yeah, they're not a band I would probably go and watch. The next band's The Darkness. Now, yeah, I'm not a fan of The Darkness. I'm not a fan of any of the tunes. I don't think the lead singer is a very good singer. They're a band that I won't be going to watch. Let's put it that way. They're just not my cup of tea. I know they've got a big following and I've heard they're okay live, but yeah, I won't be going to watch them. But I understand why they're on the card because they've got a big following. Same kind of opinion for the next band. So the next band's Steel Panther. Now, they've got a huge following. I've heard they're amazing live. They're funny. Obviously, they've got a lot of piss-taking tunes. Now, they don't do anything for me. I'm not a fan of Steel Panther. they've got a massive following. Loads of people love them. They're just not for me. They're just not a band that I particularly enjoy. So I'll more than likely not go to watch them if it's possible. I mean, like I say, if Steel Panther are on and there's a bunch of bands that I've never heard of on, I more than likely won't go and watch Steel Panther. Let's put it that way. But who knows? And then the next band are McFly. Now, obviously, they're on there to appease the female, like Busted were last year. You know, I know a load of dudes that went watch them and said they were really good, which is fair play, but doesn't tickle my pickle that. McFly, I won't be going to watch McFly. Excuse me. They're on the second bracket of bands, which makes you think they'll be on the second stage, which would make more sense. You can't put them in a smaller tent like they did with Busted this year, because you know it's fucking mayhem when Busted played there. Yeah, I won't be going to watch McFly. Let's put it that way. But I kind of understand why they're there. You can't put Busted on and be happy with Busted, and then put McFly on not be happy with McFly playing, because they're basically the same band. So I understand why they're there, but they don't do anything for me. So you know, that's not a band I'm gonna go and watch. Next band, Apocalyptica. Again, not a band I'm too fond of. They're okay. Might be worth a watch, depending what else is going on at the time. But yeah, not too fussed on Apocalyptica. And then there's three bands left, and I will go to try and watch every single one of these. So, Lorna Shore. I mean, if you know anything about Lorna Shore, you know Will Ramos is an absolute fucking demon, and some of the noises that come out of that guy's mouth are just demonic. And he's not human. I don't think the guy's human. At the end of the day, I think he's a minion of Satan that's been sent up to fucking entertain us with crazy music. And I've heard they're very, very good live as well, which helps. I mean, you can make all that noise in the studio. Can you do it live? Apparently you can, and apparently they're very good. So I will be doing my best to go and watch Lorna Shore. The next band is a band called Sixth, Sikth. Now I've seen this band 7 times. Fantastic band, technically brilliant. Singing, there's two singers. They're both fucking nuts. Very technical, very productive, very chaotic, but also really fucking good at the same time. When I saw them on the card and saw them in the second bracket, I was absolutely ecstatic, because they're one of my favourite live bands that I've ever seen. Obviously, seen them so many times. So I will definitely. I think they're one of the ones I'm like, I am not missing them. No matter who else is on, I am not missing them. I say that. It depends who else is on, but yeah, Sixth. Happy for the boys in Sixth, and I'll definitely 100% go and try and see them if I can. And then finally, Cradle of Filth. One of my all-time favourite bands. I've listened to Cradle of Filth pretty much my entire life listening to rock music. First album of theirs I ever listened to was Midian, and it was like the heaviest stuff I listened to at the time, and I absolutely fucking loved it. You know, Ghost in the Fog, Saffron's Curse, all that kind of stuff. I absolutely loved. And then the album after, Bittersweets to Succubi, I think it's called. Incredible album. You know, Born in a Burial Gown, all that kind of stuff. And then they've carried on releasing good albums. Danny Filth, still to this day, has that crazy vocal range that you can't believe a man can make, the noises the man makes and whatnot. Heard the very, very good live as well. And one of my favourite guitar riffs of all time is From the Cradle to the Enslave. It's an ace guitar riff. But yeah, Cradle of Filth are one of my top bands that I'm going to try and definitely watch if I can. Put it this way, if I don't see them, it'll have to be a good band that I go to watch over them. So I'll be surprised if I don't go watch Cradle of Filth. So we now move on to the headlining bands, the three headlining bands. Now they've got them the way they've got it laid out makes me think they've got it laid out on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Could be wrong, but um, the first band that looks like they're going to play Friday, going to open up like the main slots is Green Day. Now I've kind of got a bit of a love hate relationship with Green Day because I used to love Green Day when I was younger, growing up. The younger stuff, the older stuff, excuse me, and then anything really after the album Warning, I'm not too big of a fan on. American Idiot's very 50-50 for me. It's a good album, but then there's some absolute stinkers on there. For me, in my opinion, obviously, don't get butt hurt. But Dookie, Insomniac, Warning, albums like that, I'm a really, really big fan of. So Green Day are a band that I'm very interested in going, but also it depends what they play. Um, I could go watch them and enjoy 50% of the set, and I could dislike 50% of the set. Could I go watch another band who I'd prefer at the same time as Green Day? Definitely. It just depends what bands are on at the time. Because like this year, just gone, I love Queens of the Stone Age, but I didn't watch them. I was watching someone else at the time. Avenged Sevenfold, I like anything from Waking the Fallen before, so I didn't go watch them, and they sounded absolutely horrendous when I was walking past. Like, it sounded boring as fuck. And then it was Fallout Boy, who I'm a big fan of, but I think I was watching another band at that time as well. So I didn't actually watch any of the main bands last year. But Green Day is a band that I'm interested in seeing, but also depending if there's any. Put it this way: if Green Day are on and Cradle of Filth are on, I'm gonna watch Cradle of Filth. If Green Day are on and Sixth are on, I'm gonna watch Sixth. I'm gonna watch Lorna Shore. Just depends who's on. But Green Day is a band that I'm interested in seeing 100%. Now the next band, very controversial. Um, the next band headlining is Sleep Token. Now I can't stand Sleep Token personally. I think they're boring as fuck. I don't understand their aesthetics and all the masks and naming each other numbers and all that kind of bullshit. I don't get the hype around them. The Before I say this, right, I'm not saying this about all the fans because obviously music fans for bands are like football fans. Like I support Stoke and I support Kidsgrove, and the majority of the fans are amazing. And this actually all Kidsgrove fans are amazing. But anyway, like any football team has fans that are sound easy to talk to, not knobheads, but then you get knobheads supporting them. Well, this is prime example band for that. Sleep Token fans, not all of them. I have friends who are Sleep Token fans and they're the coolest people in the world. But some Sleep Token fans are renowned for being pompous, fucking arrogant pricks, pretentious, um, and just they're like Tool fans. Like Tool fans are renowned for being fucking tools, basically. Like I don't even think Tool like Tool fans because they're just fucking idiots and you know think they're better than everyone else. If you don't like Tool, you're a fucking idiot. Well, Sleep Token, I've heard a lot of bad things about their fans. I've heard a lot of bad shit goes down at the gigs, like people trying to get from the front to the back because they're getting overwhelmed and people not allowing them to leave. And you read stories about some of the shit that goes down in their gigs. They're just not for me at the end of the day. Like I say, I don't get the hype around them. At the end of the day, if you like them, you like them. It doesn't matter what I say. It's just my opinion is all. And let me get this out there. I understand why Download have got them headlining. I really, really do. Because they've been smashing it the last year. They're selling out fucking arenas left, right and centre. I can't fault them for that and I respect them massively. Because I think a few years ago they were like headlining the third stage at Download. So to go from that to headlining, it looks like it's going to be on the Saturday, which is the best slot for them, is fucking massive respect and fair play to them, you know what I mean? But for me, I will not put it this way, if there was no other bands on and just Sleep Token, I would go back to my tent rather than go and watch Sleep Token because They'd bore me silly. The fans had pissed me off. Um, some of the fans. I have to keep mentioning that just in case certain people are watching it and get fucking menstrual that I'm mentioning that Sleep Token is shit and the fans are dickheads. But yeah, I understand why they're headlining. I respect downloads for putting them on. I think it's a bit of a risk because people like me who are kind of neutral towards them, to the point where I don't mean neutral as in like, oh, I don't really know anything about them. I've heard the music. I know about some of the fans, so I know a bit about them. But to people that probably don't know too much, the you know they're famous for the fans being fucking tools, basically. So it might put a neutral fan of music and people being download. It might put them off going to go watch them. I hope that doesn't happen. Personally, I hope loads of people go watch them and they smash it. And I love it when bands go on big meteoric rises. To be on the third stage a few years ago to headlining is brilliant. And it is a risk putting them on just for the reputation of some of the fans and some of the shit that goes down. So it is a big risk. But it's a risk that Download are taking, and it could go either way. I've heard they're very, very good live. They're a good live band, which is fair enough. But yeah, I will not be going to watch them because I don't want to be bored silly, and I don't want to be around a bunch of pretentious tools. Some of them. So yeah, Sleep Token probably Saturday headlining, best place for them. Green Day opening up, and then the risk of Sleep Token, and then ending with the band I'm going to talk about next headlining. So yeah, that's my opinion on Sleep Token. Anyway, I'm sure there'll be people fucking slating me for it like usual, but there you go. Don't kick me out any Facebook messages groups. And then finally, the last band on of the weekend, and rightly so, and it's about time these boys headlined, is Korn. I will be going to watch Korn, 100%, because I've liked Korn since I was a kid. Not really released any bad albums. I wasn't a big fan of the dubstep album with Skrillex, but they tried it. A lot of people like it. I'm not saying it's bad to listen to, it's just not my thing really, but I'll be going to watch Korn. That's the last band of the weekend. One of my favourite bands of all time. Dirty bass, fucking Jonathan Davis smashes it. They're amazing live. Ace riffs, ace tune, nostalgia wise, incredible. So, yeah, Korn are a band that I will definitely, definitely be going to watch, and I'm so happy a band like Korn are headlining, and Green Day to that extent as well, because those two bands are huge bands. Last year was a bit 50-50, Queens of Stone Age, big band, but not got a massive fan base. Fall Out Boy, fine. Avenged Sevenfold, I don't mind them either, but to have Green Day, who are huge, and Korn, who are huge in the rock business, yeah, and then obviously the risk of Sleep Token. It's a good three bands to headline, and I'm excited for it. Very excited. I think the lineup this year so far is better than the lineup was. The lineup next year is better than the lineup this year so far. There's more bands I'm interested in watching next year than I was this year, but I did watch a lot of bands this download just gone. So I'm very excited for next year. Obviously, looking forward to the next bunch of announcements, whenever that may be. And yeah, that's my opinions. And like I say, they're opinions. Please don't start messaging me and giving me loads of shit and calling me a knobhead because I've said that Sleep Token fans are pretentious. Like I said, I'm not on about all of you. I'm just going off what I've read about certain things that go down and certain things of fans that happen at the gigs. Just because that happens doesn't mean I'm on about you. I'm on about those minorities of people that cause that kind of shit. But on a whole, I'm very excited for Download next year. And I think the lineup's brilliant. I think Download have done a really good job. It's good variety of bands as well, old and new. And yeah, I think it looks really good. So that's my opinion on the lineups. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you think I'm wrong on certain bands, or if there's any bands there that I've mentioned that I don't really know about that you like, that you think I should go and watch. And yeah, we'll just, if you go in download, we'll fucking, let's meet up and go watch some fucking bands, man. Just rock out like motherfuckers. And download was a good time this year. Such a nice atmosphere. The weather held up pretty decent. Um, but yeah, I'm really, really excited for next year. And if you're going, hit me up. If you're not going, get yourself there. But yeah, hope you've enjoyed the video. Listening to me for 50 plus minutes, you're absolutely mental if you've made it that far. But fair play at the same time. So yeah, I'm gonna go chill out now, grab some food, and enjoy the rest of my Christmas Eve. Obviously working tomorrow, so have a good Christmas, everyone. If I don't do another video or I don't speak to you, have a good New Year as well. I'm working New Year's Eve as well. There you go, but I don't mind. So yeah, peace out, guys. Much love. Stay cool. Stay positive. And yeah, just carry on being absolute fucking legends. Laters.